Trump has now released the Martin Luther King files. 6,300 files on Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination and previously unknown witness accounts. And it doesn't seem like people are nearly talking about this as much as JFK and RFK. But let me just lead with this. In case you're new to digging into the MLK assassination, MLK 100% not killed by James Earl Ray. And you just read one book on it and you will know without a question mark that he was not killed by James Earl Ray. And in fact, the only trial that was ever held for the death of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1999 found that he was killed by Lloyd Jowers, who was in his 90s at the time of the trial and died soon after. Maybe he died during the trial. I can't remember. But anyway, they found that he was guilty along with a conspiracy with government agencies because Lloyd Jowers actually did not pull the trigger. What they testified to, and Lloyd Jowers admitted to in court because he was in his later 90s, was that he helped basically give a location for the shooting because they shot outside the back of his grill, which, you know, his bar, which the back door pointed straight at where MLK's balcony. So he helped give a location and he helped dispose of the rifle. And other witnesses testified that he had the rifle after the shooting and he broke it down and got rid of it, as did he. But the actual shooter, if you read The Plot to Kill King, was likely a Memphis police officer, but was working at the behest of Hoover and the FBI and others. James Earl Ray was set up for this and long-term setup. So these papers that they're willing to release are largely just going to try and corroborate what they want to tell us, which is James Earl Ray did it. And what I find funny is one of the things they found in these files is that a Texas man says he saw someone practicing with his rifle in the days prior to the killing. And he said he and his son went fishing, blah, blah, blah. They were approaching a fishing hole. They saw a man shooting a rifle at a target 40 yards away. He and his son parked their car. The man with the rifle, which he observed to have a lever action, started talking to them. The man said he was bore sighting the rifle, meaning, you know, making sure the sight was straight. They talked about fishing, hunting. The man did not talk with an accent and gave the impression of not being from the area. The man was dressed in blah, 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 5'10", 175 pounds. When Meyer observed, and this is the part they're claiming, so they're saying this shows that he saw James Earl Ray. When he was observed photographs of James Earl Ray, basically authorities said, "Is this the man you saw?" He said no. But then eventually, when there's a photo with glasses on, he says maybe that could be the same as James Earl Ray. And he says he does not believe he could identify the man if he saw him again. And so they're using this to say, oh, yeah, they saw James Earl Ray practicing with his rifle. It's like, no, that's not what the guy said at all. Anyway, the CIA monitored Cuba's response to MLK's death. Big shocker there. Man threatened to kill MLK, snuck into one of his press conferences. Big shocker there. Everybody was threatening to kill MLK at that time. You got to remember that time, MLK was not beloved by America. Most Americans had believed the propaganda against Martin Luther King. And at that time, it was like 20% of Americans had a positive view of Martin Luther King. So, and he was getting death threats all the time. I mean, the U.S. propaganda against him was immense. Anyway, Ray's brother suggested he may have been paid to be implicated in the assassination. So in the days after, because James Earl Ray's brother said he's not very smart, but he did need money. But that does not seem to be the case. It seemed because they pinned it on him in multiple ways. They moved him around to put him in that hotel room that was across from the balcony. But he was not at the hotel room during the shooting. He had taken the car to get fixed. So he had found out about the shooting later. On top of that, you have the shooters behind the grill who are there's these trees. If you see the earlier photos before MLK shot, there's these trees from where the shot came from on a high bank. They're up above the parking lot. The following day, Memphis, the city of Memphis sends people in to clean up the area and cut all the trees down. So they remove everything. They may have included bullet casings, but they remove everything, get rid of all the trees and bushes and everything. And what purpose that serves is that now people think no one could have hid behind that grill and shot, behind the bar and shot Martin Luther King because there's nowhere to hide. It's like the day after they cut down all the trees. And you can see photos. There's photos of the time of prior to MLK being shot and then the day after. Imagine you believe the official story. In what world does the Memphis City go, oh, that fella shot MLK. Let's go cut down all those trees real quick. The fuck? No. You only do that if you got something to hide. William Pepper wrote the book, The Plot to Kill King. You should absolutely read it if you want to get all the details. William Pepper died recently, I think last year. And I interviewed him once on Redacted Tonight. And he also was MLK's lawyer and friend for his last year of life. He also was the lawyer for the King family when they brought the lawsuit in 1999. So perhaps no one has more information on the death of Martin Luther King than Pepper. But anyway, I wanted to bring all this back up to say that these files are now out. I obviously have not had time to review all these files. As with the other files, they dump, it's 6,000 files, 6,300 files, but I think it's like 24,000 pages. But they dump them all on people, and you've got to be very informed on all of these people's names and everything to even be able to read them. But then on top of that, a lot of them, they're not clear and they're poor photocopies. So it's almost as if it's designed for us not to figure out what happened. But it's interesting. Trump has revealed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of pages of documentation on JFK, MLK, and RFK. And yet Epstein, not as much information. I'm unclear on why that would be. I don't know why. Not as much information on Epstein. Huh.